Council, so as far as the time, well, first of all, the attorney who handles the hospital board is separate from us. It's the one with the next agenda. As far as time, we've already talked with Judge Coster to kind of determine the caseload and the schedule. The judge has been really flexible working with us. Essentially what it does is it adds, we both handle criminal cases in the county, and it just adds the city criminal cases. We have one justice court. We can't run two cases in justice court at once, so there's always going to be one of us available to go to the municipal court and prosecute cases there. Most things when it comes down to time management, it's all about organization. It's going to come down to us picking up the police reports daily at the sheriff's office, which we've talked to Scott Henry about already. And then once we get those police reports, we start evaluating, which misdemeanor cases have citations, so they don't need criminal complaints, which ones need actual criminal complaints that we'll draft up. And as long as we stay on top of everything and stay on top of the schedule, then it shouldn't be a problem. And that's just speaking for myself and Ms. Peterson as far as the criminal side. So, and we do have a supplement to our proposal in the form of contracts. There's one separate one for each of us, but it is exactly identical.
How many hours a week are you anticipating this will tie you up?
It's difficult to predict with criminal cases because you can have a criminal case where somebody sets up for trial, they've gotten a speeding ticket or something like that. We'll have a 5-minute conversation with the defendant if he's not represented, or his attorney if he is represented, and then the case is resolved right there. Other ones, if it's a DUI, the DUIs are the most complex. Sometimes DUIs can be more complex than felony jury trials that we have. Those can take 20 or more hours to prepare for and prosecute. Overall, I would anticipate week to week, we would probably be spending, between the two of us, I'd say no more than, on average, this is on the high end, 30 hours between the two of us, probably 15 hours each. We anticipate rotating when we're going to arraignments, when we're going to statuses, that kind of thing. So if I had some DUI in justice court, then Mackenzie would be handling the municipal court matters and back and forth. But I couldn't imagine it being more than 30 hours a week for both of us.
In light that this is something different than we've been doing, would you object to maybe a trial period of 6 months, just to make sure that it's something you guys can handle and it's something that works for us?
That's an excellent question. Here's my philosophy when it comes to lawyers. You should always be able to fire your lawyer at a drop of a hat. And so you'll see in our contract, Article 3(1) says this agreement may be terminated by either party for any reason whatsoever at any time. So what we anticipate is if what the council and the mayor want to do going forward eventually is having a full-time city attorney doing everything, then you can continue to advertise for that while just in the interim, Mackenzie and myself are doing the criminal side, and whoever you have doing the civil side is doing the civil side. And if you make an offer to a city attorney, say out of town, and they say we'll be in there in a month, then you can give us a month's notice, say we'll need you to wrap your stuff up, and no harm, no foul. that is 100% acceptable to both of us. The term for the agreement is a 1-year agreement that's only for like a placeholder. It's a 1-year agreement that automatically renews every year if neither party terminates.
The parameters of the agreement don't change for you.
Correct. But having that termination clause, it's an unlimited termination clause. So you guys could terminate this next meeting, and we're all good to go. So,
Aaron?
Yeah, your billable hours would be working for the city. Would you be doing that for the time that you spend within the DA's office, or are you going to be doing that, say, from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock at night, or what? Because right now, I can tell you, we'll be getting your complaint from people that was saying that we're hiring a double dipper.
Right.
Okay? And I don't know, right now, I don't feel comfortable with the idea of you handling our, I know courts aren't open at 9 o'clock at night, so what are you going to do in that instance? How are you, I just don't understand your motive and how it's going to operate.
So the way we do our business in the county DA's office is we are assigned cases, not time periods. So we can come in, I mean, I come in on Saturdays, Sundays all the time to do work. Of course, you can't go to court at 9 o'clock at night, but I mean, we work, you know, just about all times of the day, all days of the week. But as far as the county goes, as long as we're handling the work that we're assigned, then anything we do outside of that, and that's established by the DA's policy. So we've run this by the DA. He's comfortable with it. All the work that we do for the county, we're still doing that same level of work for the county. It's just in times that we can do our own work, we can do our own work. You know, the DA also understands that court happens during the day, during the week, during the regular work week. So we would leave the county for that period of time to go to the municipal court. But you know, most of our work, like as far as if we're responding to motions to suppress, for example, those will take maybe 10 hours to respond to sometimes. We would be doing essentially working from home in the evenings. You know, I usually put my laptop on my lap when I'm watching TV and you know, have a Giants game on or something in the background. And I just, you know, get that motion to suppress done, go into the court next morning, file it, and then, you know, do your work as you would do it. So.
I would like to mention that I did discuss this both with Judge DeBresky and Judge Fairman, and one of the benefits that they brought up on this is that it makes, how do I put this, the process or the prosecution parameters kind of uniform across whether it's the city or the county. We're getting the same kind of treatment, and the people who are using both facilities are getting the same kind of treatment because it's the same attorney in both aspects of that affair. I'm sure I didn't phrase that right. I'm not a lawyer.
No,
I'd like to make that disclosure.
And I think that was a good point. And as far as consistent, one thing we try to guard against is what they call prosecutor shopping.
Yeah.
So you'll have a defense attorney come to me and ask for a deal on this case and not get what they want, and they'll come to McKenzie, and you know, it's kind of like children who pit their parents against each other. And we actually work very hard in the county office to make sure that we have a standard way of doing business, and if there's something curveball thrown at us that we don't understand or that we haven't dealt with before, we usually confer, talk about resolutions, and then go forward that way. So.
I think it's a great idea, and I want to thank you guys for stepping forward and applying, because I know it's going to put a lot on your plates too. But, and, you know, city and county's finally getting along, and everybody's playing nice together, so refreshing.
Well, and doing this, like I said, I think I'm uncomfortable with going a great amount of time without anything happening in our courts, or having representation here for that matter, but that's on the next item. But being able to do this and make sure it works for both of us, I think is a good stopgap, if nothing else. It might turn out to be a great thing if we do it for many years.
And again, if at any point in time it just looks like it isn't working out, you guys can come to us and let us know it's not working out, and that's, you know, all good.
Sure.
I agree with what those two gentlemen both say, and I also appreciate the financial numbers that city treasurers and that trust put together. And everybody knows me, it's all about saving money, and this is a great savings, I think, and it's gonna move forward, you know, I mean, I have different opinions on the whole attorney fee to start with, and I think this is a great start, we should try it, it's a great savings. Thanks for answering the question on paper, I forgot to ask you, thank you.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
Are we still looking for a city attorney full time?
Anybody apply?
Nobody's applied.
Yes, we advertised at the state bar level, and we advertised on Indeed, and I can tell you we've had absolutely no response back for an in-house attorney as to this date.
Attorney Whipple from Alamo didn't call in, or call the city suit?
An application hasn't been, no application's been received by either.
I mean, we could keep the application on our website
Yeah,
with no cost,
I
if that's
only
something we want to.
advertise on Indeed for a month, and
Sure.
I don't know how long it stays on the
Yeah,
state
but,
law.
it stays on the state bar for a month,
Yeah.
from when you posted, and the Indeed job hasn't paused, yesterday. So,
I can tell you that I reached out to an attorney out in Elko. That attorney, who I thought was a great attorney, was not looking for a new job, but he is kind of spreading the word around Elko if there's anybody that wants a new opportunity. So you might see some applications coming in.
I would hope we could at least keep it up and the option open on our website. I don't think we need to keep the expense of the Indeed or the Bar Association going, but.
I have a question on that. I know you can't advertise for an employee, say a city treasurer's position, if you have one sitting. Is it really right that we have, say, we hire these folks, and then we advertise for an attorney?
I don't think we're hiring these folks so much as hiring their firm, is that how that works?
Yeah, so this is an independent contractor type of situation. Certainly, you wouldn't offend me at all. I mean, this is just it was a quick exit, and we have, people sitting in jail, waiting for resolutions, and so we're trying to fill that hole. And if it works out for everybody, we're happy to do it for as long as you guys are happy to have us. But if, in 1 month, you guys find, a good full-time city attorney, there's no skin off our noses.
Let them turn around and say, hey, you hired another.
No. That's why I wrote the contract that I did. You guys can, fire us at any time. We're not gonna take it personally.
Thanks, James. Ernie, did you have another question you want to add?
No, but in respect, I was just thinking, as you're proposing, both of you are in with the county with
I know I wouldn't. I don't want to speak for kids, but
Nor would I. My passion as far as the law is the criminal prosecution element, and so that's really what I like to focus on. That might change in the future, but right now I want to focus on that.
we'd be giving up felony jury trials, so
I
those
have
are too much fun.
Person, I think.
Are there any further questions or comments or discussion on this that you'd like to entertain? With that, I will call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item 2, Councilman Allworth, discussions of possible action. Acceptance of Brian R. Pyle Esquire's July 25th, 2019 proposal to provide civil contract legal services for a flat monthly fee of $4,170. I will entertain a motion on this item.
So moved.
Go ahead.
Second that.
Discussion.
Did he indicate how many hours he's gonna be able to dedicate to us?
trying to get them on the phone.
He's gonna call in. He had a trip already planned. And I'm sure he'd be happy to answer that.
Hi, Brian, this is City Clerk Lee. We are at your item, finally, hi. And we had, good. So we had a question from Councilman Carson.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hi, Brian. How many hours are you anticipating that you can dedicate to the city of Ely? Okay.
I know Brian and I had these discussions as well prior to this meeting, and where our previous attorney was so involved in a number of other things, not necessarily because, for whatever reason, but we were short-staffed and he did get involved. The job description was a little out of focus at this point, to saying, hey, we just want attorney services. So that's why the way they propose these things where we can try them out and see how it goes. It's a good stopgap measure. It may work out great. It may be difficult for Brian, and after a few months he says, I don't want to do this. I don't know. But I think, we'll have to take some time to redefine the job and what it's actually going to take. Personally, that was my my point of view on that. Did anybody have any other discussion or questions for Brian?
And then we also have, I know our previous attorney did complain a lot about all the piles and piles of liens that we have. Are you going to be able to issue those? Okay.
Does he have a clerk right now on board at the city? Is it,
No, just
Secretary.
to clarify, Bree, who's been helping us, she will be done at the end of next week. She's just a summer intern,
okay.
yeah. So,
So will he need a, this is Jim Allworth, will you need a clerk, a secretary, or figure you can do all this on your own?
I guess the short answer is I thought somebody would be there at least to maybe take inquiries from the public or, be able to sort of facilitate, what work I would be getting. But I'm always available on my phone. I also do legal work for the hospital board, and that's how they reach me. I don't physically go into the hospital and do that work. So, I'm basically open to suggestions or, how the city wants to run it. Sort of new rich territory at this point, so.
I've always found Brian to be eminently accessible. Even if we ended up hiring a part-time legal assistant for $20,000 a year, we're still saving money over what we were doing before. But like I said, I think it's going to take some time to redefine the job, especially where it's been split up now. But it sounds like Brian's willing to work on that with us.
Is this agreement the same way as the impact? This will be sure that termination can at any time if we find a full-time attorney.
Brian, the question is, James and Mackenzie brought in agreements tonight. I know we didn't have that with yours per se, but they had provided a 30-day notice for termination of agreement. Is that something you'd be providing as well?
Absolutely, yeah. We didn't come in on this as a package, we wanted the city to be free to go any direction that it wanted, but, I'm very much aligned with them, I'm aligned with sort of their interests, and I'm aligned with, our circle philosophy about just making sure that the local community, not the legal help that it needs, we as a practitioner, like Mr. Rogers, has been around for a long time, it kind of leaves a gaping hole for any of the professions that we have, that we get local to lose someone. So, yeah, 30 days, I'm definitely okay with it.
Thanks, Brian. Any other questions?
I'm obviously on the road, it's raining pretty hard here in Idaho Falls, so if you guys can't hear me properly, I apologize.
Thanks, Brian. Any other questions for
Thank you.
Mr. Bach? Okay. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys taking the time and considering my proposal and allowing me to appear in California. That means a lot, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Brian, do you want to stay on the line while they vote?
That would be good.
Yeah.
Any other discussion there?
I'd just like to make a comment, the sooner the better. I for one probably need that guidance.
Okay.
We all do, as much as.
With that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Thank you, Brian.
You're hired.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. I look forward to working with all of you.
Thanks. Item 3, council members, city clerk lead discussion for possible action, approval of DNR traffic release contracts between the city of East and Eldridge Veterinary to be paid from the Maddie's Fund $10,000 grant received in fiscal year 2019.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the TNR traffic release contract between City of Ely and Elmridge Veterinary. We paid for Maddie's funds, $10,000 in the grant from 2019.
Do I have a second for this?
I'll second.
Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Item 4, council members, city clerk, any discussion for possible action? Approval of grant of easement between the City of Ely and AirTouch Cellular Inc., DBA Verizon Wireless. I'll entertain a motion on this.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the grant of easement between City of Ely and AirTouch Cellular doing business as Verizon Wireless. Hopefully we'll get better service.
Do I have a second on that? Any discussion on this item or questions?
Where's the easement?
That's a good question.
I don't got my GPS.
Sorry.
That easement is the communications up on the hill up here above the municipal. Towards whose house?
Toward Joseph's house?
Up towards Joseph's house, yes. And so this is just an easement connecting, because there's an AT&T and there's a Verizon lease, and this is just a connection in between them. For whatever they're doing, they need to get some conduit between their two facilities, so.
Okay, we won't drop as many calls.
Any discussion, other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're moving on to item 6. This is council members, city treasurer Trask, discussion for possible action, approval of city Ely debt management policy update. Treasurer Trask.
Yeah, you guys all got a copy, I think, just recently. This is just something that I have to send to the state each year, and if there's any changes, mainly if we add any new loans, it's gonna be added to this and approved by the board to be, before I can send it off to the state. And we did add the, since it was last approved, we've added the, the ambulance loan and then the inter, fund loan from the landfill to the, yeah, from the landfill to the general fund.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the City of Ely debt management policy update.
Do I have a second? Thanks, Ernie. Any discussion on this item or questions for the treasurer?
Now, I have a question for you. How well versed are you in this, because I have to attend this tomorrow on the debt management board. I hope you, so I can maybe call you and ask you, they sent me a packet that thick.
My only experience was when I worked for the city before, when you were the clerk, and we had to go before them to get a loan approved to, I think, which one was
Ladder
it?
truck
Oh, that was
loan.
the lease that
Ladder.
we did with the ladder
Yeah.
truck.
So is any loans we have at the other end? of
Yeah,
that?
it has certain criteria that it has to, it's just a process that we have to go before them to get their approval.
How many times a year do they do this, you know? Annual? Okay, all right. I'll be ready for it. Thank you for the advice.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried so ordered. With that, we will open it back up for item 10, public comment. Anybody, public comment?
Give me a notebook.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I find it interesting that Councilman Hanson would worry about people's plans, like the engineer. I have plans where you guys have me hanging from 1 year to the next, 1 month to the next. You need to resolve the problems that bring before you, all of them. Simple request, that open meeting law says 5 days. Not 5 years, not 10, not 12. This has got to stop. You worry about some of your employees, you better start worrying about the people you serve. That being said, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Hanson has not finished putting in the curb and gutter as well as the ADA access on the corner of his property, city code. He has the property up for sale. Is he going to disclose that that hasn't been completed yet? Councilman DeFelice is still missing. He's gone from Mr. DeFelice Mr. DeFlake, he has an obligation, took an oath, he needs to show up. Other than that, he needs to resign. I've asked him for help, I've asked him for different questions, nothing, Mr. Mayor. You need to do something to him, light a fire, whatever. Mr. Mayor, the previous administration made an error in overpaying the building inspector, and he was paid the city salary as well as what the county paid for his services. He was double dipping. A correction is needed, and the building inspector needs to reimburse the city for the overpayment. When other government entities make an error in overpaying, they retain a portion of the salary until that error is corrected. Normally, it's about 90%, so you can have a quick payback. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Carson's yet to come in for a business license. He's installed a modular home in his trailer park on Orson Avenue. Again, how old is the modular home? What is the snow load? He's now trying to sell it. Does he have a license to sell modular homes? Is the trailer park zone commercial? This request is months old. It needs to be rectified. Mr. Mayor, NRS forbids public employees and/or officials from having preference in buying or selling the public property. I want to know if this 490 linear feet that came out of 490 linear feet of 16-inch steel pipe that was removed from the Murray Street project has been returned to the city landfill for sale or auction. If it hasn't, we need to address that. This is better than a year old. Mr. Mayor, I'm reminding you that the city has yet to reimburse me for the expenditure that I incurred for carrying the server on 681 Parker. That was the city's responsibility. Interest of 2% a month is being assessed in addition to the late fee. The city council voted to pay for an upgrade to larger size line for a private individual. I want my money back. That is now at $5,546.42. I want equal protection under the law, Mr. Mayor, not just thank you. I will thank you once I get that check. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Yes.
Fire with cold feet, I've never seen that before.
Do you want to go before Andrew, or do you want to go after Andrew?
I'll just excuse myself from the city council just a minute.
Sure.
I was asked to relate to the city council meeting tonight that the new Holiday Express will open up a week from today. This will be a great benefit to our city.
Great. Thank you. Andrew?
I'd like to bring up something in my report, and I want to specifically notate it because of the importance. A bat was found in Ruth and tested, and the Department of Agriculture tested positive for rabies. And that was in this month's report that you can read, and then, or last month's report you can read, and then this month you'll see that 2 cats and 2 dogs were euthanized for exposure of that bat. They brought in the bat, they ended up killing it, and they were all exposed. Me and Mike Craycraft, we handled it per state law, which says we have to euthanize or quarantine those animals for 180 days. So I'd like to bring it up to make everyone aware that there was a rabies problem in Ruth, and to make sure that everyone vaccinates their animals against rabies. And that way we don't come into these problems more often. And that is it.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we will.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?